Hey everyone, and welcome. You know when you see a massive construction project, a skyscraper climbing into the sky, and you just wonder, how do they keep everything from going terribly wrong? Well, you've come to the right place. Today, we're going to lay out the blueprint for understanding one of the most critical parts of the entire industry, construction risk assessment.
All right, so let's just dive right in. To really get this, we have to set the stage first. The construction industry, especially in a place like Taiwan, isn't just complicated, it's incredibly, uniquely hazardous. And look, that's not just my opinion. This quote is pulled straight from the official technical guides. It's a really stark fact that reminds us of the huge stakes and the immense responsibility that's on the line every single day at a construction site. So what is it that creates this perfect storm of risk? Well, it's a whole mix of things. We're talking about gigantic projects, right? Skyscrapers, deep excavations, often crammed into dense cities right next to other buildings. Then you throw in tricky, unpredictable geology and a workforce that's always changing. You can see pretty quickly why being able to see what's coming isn't just a good idea, it is absolutely essential.
So, knowing there's a problem is one thing, but how does the industry actually get a handle on it? The answer is a systematic process, one that's designed to turn all that unpredictability into something manageable.
And that brings us right to the heart of it all, risk assessment. Now, this is not guesswork. It's not just crossing your fingers and hoping for the best. It's a formal, structured process. It's really about methodically looking at a project, not with fear, but with a critical eye, to spot the dangers before they become disasters. It's about protecting the people and the project itself.
And this breaks it down perfectly. The whole thing really boils down to three clear, common-sense steps. First, you identify the risks. What could possibly go wrong here? Then, you analyze them. Okay, how likely is this to happen, and if it does, how bad is it going to be? And finally, you evaluate. Is this a risk we can live with, or do we need to do something about it, like right now?
All right, so we get the what. Now let's get into the how. It's one thing to have a nice framework, but what does this actually look like on a real multi-million-dollar construction project?
The key thing to understand is that risk assessment isn't some one-and-done checklist you fill out. It's a living, breathing process. It starts way back in the earliest planning stages. Then it becomes absolutely critical during the design phase. And this is so cool, where you can literally engineer dangers right out of the project from the start. And of course, it continues every single day on site, because conditions are always changing.
So, to make sure nothing gets missed in that all-important identification step, professionals need a system, a way to scan for troubles so they don't overlook something obvious. And one of the best tools for that is called the 5M1E framework.
Let's quickly break this down. This framework basically forces the team to look at the project from every possible angle. You have to ask questions. What about our construction method? What about the machines we're using? Could the materials themselves be a risk? What about the manpower, our people and their training? Is the management structure clear? And finally, what's going on in the physical environment around us? It's like a 360-degree review to make sure no stone is left unturned.
And here's where the rubber meets the road. This is a super simplified version of an assessment form, but it shows you the thought process perfectly. You identify a potential risk, like a slope collapsing during excavation. You list what you're already doing about it, your existing protections, like standard protocols. Then you ask, is that enough? If the answer is no, you add new protections, like more monitoring or stronger walls. It's a clear, documented path from spotting a risk to dealing with it.
Okay, so a process is only as good as the people running it, right? Which leads to a really important question. Who is actually responsible for making sure all this gets done?
Well, the truth is, safety is a team sport, but everyone has a very specific position to play. You've got the project owner, who has the ultimate oversight and, this is key, controls the budget for safety. Then there's the designer, who can have a massive impact by preventing risks before a single shovel hits the dirt. And finally, you have the contractor, who is on the ground, day in and day out, actually executing the plan. When these three work together, the system really works.
I know, this all sounds like a lot of work, a lot of meetings, a lot of paperwork, and it is. So let's wrap this up by focusing on the ultimate goal, and really reinforcing why this whole process is worth every single bit of effort.
This right here is probably the most important takeaway. It's a total mindset shift. This process is not a bureaucratic chore you do just to cover yourself if something goes wrong. It's a strategic tool. It is the very foundation that allows a project to be successful, to finish on time, on budget, and most importantly, with everyone going home safe.
And the payoffs for all that hard work? They're enormous. First, and most importantly, it prevents disasters and saves lives, period. But beyond that, it's just smart business. It helps you avoid those crippling delays and budget overruns that accidents cause. It means the final building is safer and built to last. And it builds trust with everyone. Foresight pays off in every single way you can measure.
So I'll just leave you with this final thought to chew on. Vision is seeing that beautiful, finished skyscraper in your mind. Foresight is seeing the weak spot in the soil before you even break ground. Now, in construction, you absolutely need both. But maybe, just maybe, it's foresight that builds the solid foundation that any grand vision depends on. Thanks for watching.